Bro, before we get into the video, I'm so excited, man. I woke up, I looked on the Need for Speed Reddit, and as y'all can see in front of me right here, we made it to the Need for Speed, official Need for Speed Reddit front page, man. Like, I really gotta show gratitude to Money Eagle 4249. Bro, I cannot believe that one of my videos is on the front page of Need for Speed Reddit, man. So everybody can see. Now, unfortunately, the post is not doing too hot right now, but I do believe that as time goes on, it will continue to do good, man. Look at what he said. Doofus type post with the emoji. Brother, I know that's about to get some attention. The views about to be going up. As I said earlier, man, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. I never thought that something like this would actually happen to me. I mean, I'm just a small channel. I got big dreams. I want to blow up on YouTube. And the fact that things like this are happening, I honestly don't know who to thank. I mean, of course, I got to thank Jesus, right? But I really just want to thank y'all as well for making this possible, for making my dreams come true. And it's just so unreal, man. It's so unreal, bro. Oh my gosh. Anyway, y'all, today's video is going to be like, I can't stop smiling, bro. I really can't stop smiling. Today's video is going to be about something that may be a little bit controversial, which is, should Lockdown and Hot Pursuit be in the new Need for Speed game off rip? I personally have had a change of heart. I don't think that they should be in the game off rip, just because the new game needs to experience its own identity, right? People need to actually know what the new game is instead of the new game being known for game modes that have already been in other games, such as Lockdown and Hot Pursuit, right? Now, Drift and Drag, I think, is a little bit different because that's what should be in a racing game anyway, right? Especially in a game like Need for Speed. I think it was a very bad decision for them not to have Drift and Drag off rip in Unbound. I don't think that shouldn't have even been an update, because that should have been something that you could do after racing from day one. From volume 1, you should have been able to do drag and be able to do drift. But anyway, we got a whole video coming up. Once again, I gotta thank Money Eagle. I gotta thank the Need for Speed Reddit for just giving me this opportunity. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. And let's get into it, man. Boom, boom. So as said before, this may be a little controversial to say, but I have had a change of heart, and I do not think Lockdown and Hot Pursuit should be in the next game off rip. I am not saying that it can't be in the game, period. That would be dumb. But I do think the next game needs to establish its own identity before we start adding game modes that are from previous games. Assuming that the next game is going to go down the exact same path as Unbound did with how they release updates, I think that maybe around volume 2, they should drop Hot Pursuit, and then volume 4, they should drop Lockdown. I purposefully skipped over volume 3 because I think that they could use that volume to make a new game exclusive event, or drop something that will bring players to the actual new Need for Speed instead of older game modes rehashed into the new game, if that makes sense. Of course, this is also riding on the fact that the game is not rushed and will drop complete on day 1. We definitely do not want a redo of Unbound's release schedule, where they showed us cops in single player, but when we actually went to multiplayer, they were nowhere to be found because the devs didn't put cops in an illegal street racing game. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. But back to the topic at hand before I go completely on a different rant. Lockdown and Hot Pursuit are such big game modes that, in my opinion, if they were to drop them day 1, players may feel inclined to just grind those out instead of actually playing what is new in the game. The idea is to give players time to really know what the new game's identity actually is without associating it to any older game and starting the comparison war, which is what the community is heavily known for. There is 99.9% going to be a new story with new characters and new activities to enjoy. Why not give everyone the chance to experience those first, then after things have kind of died down, drop some of the old banger events we are used to? People who are diehard single player only players are of course going to play through the story. But what about all the other players who want to experience racing with others and the full multiplayer experience? Why not let players experience what the new game has to offer first and have it establish what it brings to the franchise? Lockdown by itself is like a whole new game where things are pretty much completely different from how the regular game works. This will of course steer players away from what the new game has to offer, in my opinion. This could also keep the game's life cycle from crashing and burning, because even though there are new events, when the old events do eventually make a return, they will immediately gather players due to how familiar everyone is with them and the fact that they will hopefully be done correctly the first time by that point. I mean, I would hope they are done correctly considering all the feedback we have given them on each update and also the time they have had to improve things. Let's have the new volumes and updates for the game actually be the face of something new that is being added. Maybe add in Hot Pursuit when they add in a brand new heat level with new cops and new events. The events don't have to be Gauntlet reskinned, but have a cop influenced update that Hot Pursuit can be dropped with. That way players know the game for what it brings, such as a new heat wave and cops, versus have it be known as the update that just brings back Hot Pursuit and overshadows what is actually new. Now, I do believe the impact Drift and Drag had could be different based on what they do with it, and I do think it would be fine for them to have that on release. The reasoning I have for this is due to the fact that those things are players would do in the game anyway. Drifting is what was already dropped into Need for Speed and is a core part of the game's dynamic. Truth be told, this should be in the game anyway. Same with Drag. Drift and Drag have a way closer tie to racing and illegal activity from a base standpoint than something as big as Lockdown, which is a completely new event in the grand scheme of things. To say it another way, Drift and Drag is expected in racing games, especially a game like Need for Speed, and if it were to be there on release, I don't think it would take away from the identity of the new game nearly as much as if there was a whole game mode to escape cops and let players be cops. Going back to what Heat offered with Drifting and Drag, it seems to have meshed well, and of course ignoring the fact that Drag didn't have its own events at all. Smaller things like PvP and the themed events, I did go back and forth on the benefits they could provide, but I also think those should be added in a little bit later as well. PvP has done numbers for the activity of Unbound regarding keeping players engaged and allowing them to play with others constantly. However, I do not think this will be a problem when the new game comes out, and in fact may take away from players actually exploring the game and seeing what it has to offer. The reason I say this is that look at Free Roam and Unbound now. With these few updates, they have increased the amount of activity you can do in Free Roam lobbies, but hardly anyone does them. Why? Because PvP exists. That is what I think would happen with the next game. Now, PvP was released a bit too late in Unbound. It should have dropped when the devs noticed the player count dwindling in Free Roam and the number of races played in a lobby not increasing. This is the perfect time to drop something like PvP. When the next game does eventually lose steam and players are in a sort of funk in multiplayer, that is when they should release PvP with new events of course, and also tier races a lot of people enjoy. To bring all the yapping I did together, Volume 1 needs to establish the identity of the game. Let players know this game is different from what they have experienced before. Let players know that these events are fresh for them and ready to be played and explored. Let racers experience the actual tracks and explore the map. Of course, keep Drift and Drag in there from the jump, but let it be done correctly this time. That way, after someone gets tired of doing the new tracks, they can hop into drifting and chill for a little bit. Or maybe they can drag some other racers for a little while. Volume 2 needs to bring in something smaller like Hot Pursuit, which can be included with the new cop rework, or update adding in a new heat level and all that sort of stuff. Then in Volume 3, let the players remember this game is a new game. Let them experience something that could be exclusive to the next game only, and reminds them that it's not Unbound, it's not Most Wanted, it's not Hot Pursuit. Those are other games. After that, it could be a good time to drop Lockdown, but once again, not let it be the face of an update. Include it with something new for the game. As said before, because Lockdown is such a game changer to what a racing game can do, this needs to be something that drops later after players are already used to what the new game has to offer. After those volumes drop, I don't really know what else they could do, which is probably why it's not my job to think of that. Overall, I want this next game to go down a path like Unbound, but better. When we first played Unbound, we were taken back at how it started off and how it made it a fact to establish its own identity with the way the animations were, the events like link-ups, gauntlet races, off-road races, all that sort of stuff. Even though it was already in other games, they made it their own. That is how the next game needs to be, with a passion. If you guys agree or disagree, please let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.